Greetings. It's the older Paul Deeds today. Remember that television show back in, oh, what was it, the 60s or so? The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle? Remember that program? Remember Mr. Peabody? Remember Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine? Well, I was thinking it would be kind of fun if I could hop on Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine and go back for a few minutes with my younger self. What I might what I might suggest to him and what I might let him know. I think the first couple of things I'd let him know is that those embarrassing moments that he's going through, he'll get through them. It'll be all right. Don't worry about it. I think the second thing I'd let him know is you're not going to be marrying Hazel Havorka. Before I get into any more revelations for the younger deeds, I probably should say that you shouldn't confuse my thoughts and insights with regrets because, like I've said many times before, I don't have any regrets about my younger self, about my previous life, or my earlier life, I should say, not my previous life. I've made mistakes, plenty of them, but that's part of the deal. We all do that, and I accept that. And getting on with it. Maybe not first, but right up there in importance is to be less self conscious, be less embarrassed by things. In the long run, you'll find out that none of that matters and nobody cares. You know that bad haircut you got from Uncle Clyde? It'll grow back. And the earlier you can learn to laugh at yourself, the better off you'll be. You got to have a sense of humor about this life, and it might as well start with you. Learn to accept the fact that there are going to be awkward and embarrassing moments, but you'll get through them. And don't take yourself too seriously. Seriously, don't take yourself too seriously. Another thing I might tell the younger Paul Deeds is to not try so hard to be cool. Later on, you'll figure out that the cool kids, most of them weren't that cool. Your mother will tell you, relax and just be yourself. Mind your mother. She knows what she's talking about. As it turns out, authenticity and just being yourself is the cool part. You really don't need to impress anyone. It took me a while to clear that hurdle, believe me. As you get a little older, things will start taking on a little more importance, a little more meaning, and you'll have some cringe moments in your past. You won't be able to get past them. Just keep in mind that some of the things you do can't be taken back. So think before you act. You know, like I said, you'll make some mistakes. Accept them, own them. You don't want to be looking back at your life thinking, I can't believe I said that, or I can't believe I did that. You'll have those moments, but if you think before you act, you can reduce the number of them. And in school, grades are important, but learning is what you're there for. So don't worry quite so much about grades. Pay attention to the things that are going on around you socially, the people around you. Pay attention to that stuff. It's not all about what's in the book in front of you. It's about what's everything that's happening around you. Pay attention to that stuff. It'll be important to you. You'll get along pretty well with your parents, but there will be moments when you when you question their thinking. Keep in mind that they were once your age, but you've never been their age. And when you think they ought to give you a break, maybe you ought to give them a break too. Remember those cringy, awkward moments we talked about earlier? They will happen, but you'll get through them. The faster you can let them go, the better off you'll be. Nobody else thinks about them as much as you do, and that's just the truth. Others don't remember them nearly as well as you do. And through your adult life, there'll be a few things that will be good to remember. Everybody fails. Failure is not the end. Absorb it, keep on trucking. And remember, nobody has life figured out. Some people may seem like they do, but they're just plugging along just like the rest of us. You get better along the way. So pay attention and adjust as you go. The next one here is a biggie. Make memories. Your memories that you make will sustain you later on in life. And anything you can do to record those moments, you'll be happy you did. Whether it's photographs or videos or a journal, something to bring those memories back to you when you need it. You'll be glad you did. Your memories will be far more important to you than your stuff. Trust me on that one. And I think probably most importantly is to be kind. Of all the things you can be kind. And that one is so important they print it on t-shirts like this one. Now I know just because it's printed on a t-shirt doesn't mean it's important. I mean, look at this, right? Not that that's not important. And don't ever regret being kind, even when it's not returned or even when it doesn't pan out like you hoped it would. Kindness is a strength, not a weakness. And do what's right. When you know what the right thing is, it should be difficult to do anything else. And finally, relax. You're doing better than you think you are. Laugh, worry less, and don't take yourself too seriously. Enjoy the crazy ride. Everything's going to be okay. Now, that's by no means a complete list of the things I'd like to tell my earlier self. It's more just the highlights. And now it's funny, I find myself sitting here wondering what my 85-year-old self will be telling me at 75. That's an interesting thought. What is Paul Deeds at 85 thinking about Paul Deeds at 75? Now, to me, pondering is a lot of fun. Wondering about things and thinking about things. I spend a lot of time in my own head. And I'm thinking about the things that you could tell your younger self. Or if you don't have a problem with giving advice, the advice that you would give younger generation. I think of it a little bit like diet advice. You know how many different diets there are out there. I mean, whatever diet regimen you're looking at, it's it's pretty much a sure thing that fruits and vegetables are going to be good for you. Most people say that fruits and vegetables are a good thing to eat, so you can be reasonably sure that that's true. And it's kind of the same with life advice. There are certain things that most older people would suggest to younger people, like relax, don't worry so much, do the things you want to do, don't wait, do it while you can, that sort of thing. So it's reasonable to assume that that's probably good advice. Funny thing to me is, it seems like the people that would most benefit from this kind of advice are probably the ones least likely to listen to it. So there's that. We do the best we can. People don't always take the best advice. People don't always eat their fruits and vegetables. It's the way it is. So I guess I'll take my own advice and relax, laugh, and not worry about it. Peace and joy.